Mokuba sat at the breakfast table with his cereal, flicking through the newspaper and looking far too grown up for Seto's liking. He couldn't help but think how much simpler things were once upon a time. When they were younger, Seto was Mokuba's everything. He'd tell him to jump, and the younger would only ask how high. Everything Seto did back then was magic, worthy of adoration and praise. He was every kind of superhero. Now, they were older, and Seto didn't doubt that he was still Mokuba's number one. The boy admired him as much as ever and respected and looked up to him like nobody else, but it was different. Mokuba had his own ideas and opinions, and Seto needed to respect that, or else run the risk of making the same mistakes as Gozaburo, who projected his own bitterness onto Seto and wound up creating his own worst enemy. In this moment of thought, Seto came to understand that a degree of his problem with Lamia, however small, came from the fact that Seto didn't want to share his brother's love. It had been enough allowing Noah into their lives and then watching his influence embolden Mokuba into making some real friends of his own. It had been good for the boy, but not so much for Seto, who every day fought an irrational and growing urge to freeze his brother as a child and wrap him up in bubble wrap so no one would or could ever hurt him or take him away. It was a ridiculous and paternal desire, one Seto was sure many fathers and would-be fathers had to face. And as well, he had to face the fact that this was important for Mokuba to go through. He needed to separate from his big brother and find his own path. The two would never be far apart. If Seto had faith in anything, he had faith in that. But he couldn't parent the boy forever. Mokuba had to grow up sometime. Seto knew he was late for work, but despite that, he took a minute before heading out the door to walk over to his little brother and hug him. Mokuba froze out of sheer surprise, but within seconds responded, turning in his seat so he could hug Seto back.
What's all this? You're late for work.
Seto didn't answer him. He did, however, squeeze Mokuba a tiny bit tighter, taking a rare opportunity to truly appreciate the moment. And there he stayed for a good minute before coming back to reality.
I have a conference call later this evening, so I won't be home until dark. Why don't you invite Lamia over until then?
You mean it?
As long as I don't have to see her.
Have a good day at work. Love you.
I love you too, little brother.
By the time Seto finally made it into his office, after dealing with a sea of people who wanted his attention and at least 3 world-ending crises on the way in, he was already exhausted. He could work for days on end just fine, but this whole family mess was really taking it out of him. Functioning on autopilot, he opened up several programs and got to work. On the far left screen, a pop-up flashed, the one that appeared when Noah wanted to speak with him. A tiny groan escaped Seto. He loved his brothers dearly, of course, but he could only handle one problematic family matter at a time.
What? I mean, hi.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
I spoke to Mokuba right after you left this morning. He said you told him he could have Lamia over. I thought you had a bad gut feeling about her.
I do.
Then why—
Human error. That's what Gozaburo called emotions, though I'm sure I don't need to tell you.
I don't follow.
It's like this. I can't force Mokuba to do everything I want him to, just because I want him to. I've thought about it, and my doubts are more than likely the result of some leftover emotions, and I refuse to make my brother suffer because I can't get my act together.
I really think you should hold off on that, actually.
Why?
Because you might have been right. I did some extra digging into your aunt's background.
What for?
I wanted to help. Anyway, did you know she used to work for Kaiba Corp, back when it created weaponry?
No, I didn't. And I'm willing to bet Mokuba didn't know either, or he would have told me.
That's not the part that bothers me, though. She didn't just work for Kaiba Corp, Seto. She worked in Sector 1.